Martin, the last weeks we spoke about, for example, olive oil, the olive oil sector, about wind energy, and we closed off not really positive.
No,
We are positive people, but we
absolutely.
closed off because in both sectors we saw a lot of headwind, especially in the wind energy. We saw a lot
We
of
saw
headwind,
a lot of
and we
negatives.
promised our viewers that this time we will come back with some positive news, and we have. We are going to talk about two macroeconomic positive figures and three companies with really nice developments.
Absolutely. Let's start off with some positive macroeconomic news from the Netherlands. What we saw in the Netherlands is that the unemployment was down from 3.7 to 3.6.
Yeah,
It's
and
okay.
that is really good. And why we highlighted also, of course, we are from the Netherlands, so we have a little bit of focus. But it's also to show that in the Netherlands you only have an unemployment rate of 3.6%.
Yeah,
We are in Spain here; it's a little bit higher.
it's a lot higher,
You see
and
a lot of
I mean the social field of catch up. When in
yeah,
the Netherlands you find a job pretty easy. In Spain, it tends to be a little bit more difficult.
yeah,
Where was the unemployment going down? Mainly in banking and in education, so it's teachers, right?
schooling.
Schooling, and it was going up slightly in the restaurants and in the catering sector. U.S. macroeconomic news
Yeah,
that did have a lot of impact.
this week not a lot of movements in the market, except when the U.S. Showed that the inflation, the current
The core
the
inflation.
core inflation
Yeah, but
went down
it's
from
an
four.
important one.
Yeah, went down from 4.1 to 4%,
Yeah.
and then the markets went up, and the bond market moved
I
a
showed it
lot.
last year in a seminar in Costa Blanca, the effect of the CPI in 2000. Each time the CPI, that one really pushes the market left or right. You should
Yeah,
really pay attention.
but only for one day.
Yeah, but if you have some sort of short-term
Yeah.
positions, in options or anything, the CPI is really moving the market in a certain direction many times.
The next Fed meeting will be next year in May, so it is 4 months from now. Not really short term, but the market hopes that the Fed will, in the first time in a long period, will lower the interest rate. So keep that in mind. Until May, no important Fed meetings.
Exactly. Then, company news, again from Holland. Why from Holland? Because we are from Holland, so we have like
Oh, we're an international company.
it's an international company and has a lot of footprint in the United States. Aegon, it's a large insurance company. They also life insurances and pension plans. And the third quarter was pretty good, mainly on the sales side. They sold a lot more of their products, mainly the pensions and the life insurances. And they did that mainly in Transamerica, which is their US partner. Transamerica is a huge insurance company in the US, which is part of Aegon, of collaborating with Aegon. And another thing what was positive for Aegon was also that in the Netherlands they sold their business, a large chunk of the Dutch business, to ASR, which is also an insurance company. But they negotiated that 6.6 billion of the assets under management will be remain under management of Aegon itself. So they do have the pleasure, but they don't have the hassle around. So they keep maintaining that money, but they're not really responsible for the business side of it. They expect that they will generate around 20 million additional revenues out of this deal with ASR. If you look at it from an investment perspective, the price earnings of Aegon is around 18, so that's okay. It's not spectacular. Dividend is quite high. The unit price of the stock is 4.98. So if you have 7% dividend, you only receive 20 cents. So it's all about the amount of shares that you're buying, of course, but relatively 7.3% dividend is quite high. You see that with a lot of insurance companies, also in Germany. If you look at Allianz and Münchner Rück and N Group in the Netherlands, also in the US, United Health, those insurance companies, they tend to pay out quite high dividends in general to the shareholders. Debt position is reduced a lot. Aegon used to have quite a high debt, about 9 billion last year still, and this year it's 1.3. So they did something really good with that, mainly of course due to the sales to ASR and other parts of business units. Not so good was, of course, the currency issues they encountered. So they had some issues with the dollar, of course, which has become a little bit stronger, and they operate in Europe. And on the other hand, also, of course, the investment climate for them is not so positive because the market's pretty volatile. fixed income, you all know what happened over the past 12 months. The bond prices went down, the yields went up, but the bond prices in itself went down. So there they had some difficulties. But Aegon, always interesting to look at their figures because it's sort of like a benchmark for Northern European insurance companies, I think.
Target.
Target, yeah.
That is a company from the US. Went
United
up with 18%, 18% this week. Why? Because they showed better than expected Q3 figures. If when you are a shareholder of Target and you have them for at least months, then you're not an happy shareholder because in the beginning of October they dropped 40%. So the 18% increasement is still not. You can see that in the chart. And it's trading at $130, and it was in the top in Corona almost double the price. So, but it's also it has some fantasy in it. What are they doing? It's a large company, the sixth biggest retailer of the US. So not a small party. So if you believe in that sector, maybe this could be a company to dive into it because it's something you not aware of.
Correct.
They have 1,900 stores in the US, and if you look at the target price, the target price is around $150. So trading at $130, target price is mainly given for a year ahead, so it can be interesting. And if you look at the profit per share, maybe it will be increased, the expected profits over whole 2023, because not all the analysts have updated their estimations. But it is $8, so with a price of $130, you have a price earning of $16, and that's also not a lot, especially with the target price is higher, and the fantasy that's still in the share price of 2 years ago.
Correct.
So Target was in the news, 18% up, so quite interesting share to follow.
Correct. And then Warren Buffett, he did something. Well, he does everything. He does something every day. You just said it to me, but he did something surprising. No, he bought some new stocks of. Well, he bought some stocks of a company that he didn't own yet.
I never heard of the company. You?
No.
We have on our platform 50,000 shares that you can buy. So I won't say I didn't hear of most of them, but a lot of the shares we don't know.
No.
Warren, but now we know, and you know in a second. Sirius XM. Warren Buffett bought for a value of around 44 million euros, also not that much, but he bought a stake in Sirius XM. What are they doing? We had to look it up. They existed from a merger in 2008, and they are a similar operation as Spotify.
So they stream music.
Yes, but they do it through a satellite. And that's also, of course,
without the usage of internet.
Yeah, that's also, they do it. They have their program, what they offer is slightly different. They're more on sports also, some comedians, so they have more podcasts that's what they say, more than Spotify. But based on their satellite construction, the quality, and I think quality of the sound is quite important for a company like Spotify and Sirius FM. But the quality is not that good.
Well, you have to. I think you have to listen to. I mean, me personally, it doesn't say so much. But if it's stated in these articles, I believe it.
They have between 48 and 64 kilobytes per second, and Spotify allows listeners up to 320 with kilobyte per second.
Yeah.
So I think it's the main difference. Now, of course, Warren Buffett buys only a company that makes a profit. They are expecting to make a profit of 31 cents this year per share. They're trading at around $5.20, so that's a price earnings of around 16, 17.
Great.
They have some. Okay, look, if they have assets of 10 billion and debt of 9 billion, I think that's not really Warren Buffett style. So I think it's quite a strange.
Why did he buy this?
What does he know more than what we know, what we could find about it? So Sirius XM, Warren Buffett bought it, but be careful, don't just copy Warren Buffett because he can also make
mistakes. Absolutely. Thank you for watching.
Some positive news now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us your time.